So remasters and remakes have been a thing in gaming for a little while now, but I feel with this current gen, there have been a lot of big titles that are being remastered or remade. Like really big AAA titles such as Yakuza Kiwami 2, the Shadow of the Colossus remake, Catherine Full Body, and the recently announced Dark Souls Remastered. But then I started to reflect on some of my own ideal PlayStation 4 remasters. And so, here we are. My top 5 PlayStation 4 remasters / remakes that I really want. Now let's of course start off this video with some grade A cheating. But in all seriousness, this is definitely cheating on the top 5 part, but this is just a small list of games that I know will probably never come out due to either licensing or just companies not caring anymore. So this is just a list of games I know aren't ever going to come out, and they aren't a part of the actual list. So let's just get all of this over with. A physical release of Final Fantasy VII, the PlayStation 3 Tales re-releases / remasters, Symphonia, Symphonia 2, Graces, Xillia, Xillia 2, the original Battlefront 2, Tomb Raider Crystal Dynamics Trilogy, a full 3D remake of Final Fantasy XII Revenant Wings with turn-based combat, Web of Shadows, the original Force Unleashed, I don't really care about the second one, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII, and Assassin's Creed Bloodlines. Okay, I did that all in one take. Thank God. And the only game that really has a possibility of really coming out with a remake is Crisis Core, and that's just because Hajime Tabata said so, but then again, not everything people say comes to fruition, so let's just hope. But for now, let's get on to the actual list of my top 5 PlayStation 4 remasters / remakes that I really do want. So this is kind of an amalgamation of me being a completionist, of me being a bit of a fanboy, and me fixing an issue I've had with this game since around the time it came out. Now for the completionist part, we already have 3 out of the 4 Arkham games. Origins is the only one missing. I guess this is a so-called missing link that we need just to complete the Arkham series for next gen. And the only reason I can see why this wouldn't happen is that this is made by a completely different developer than the other Arkham games. But besides that, sure, it's not the best, but I believe it deserves a second chance on next gen with improved graphics and possible fixes to gameplay, etc, etc. And I have a lot of nostalgia for this game because it was my first Arkham game. Now my biggest gripe with the game isn't in the actual game, it's the fact that there was no Game of the Year edition. Like they could have at least re-released the game with all of its DLC, even for next gen. And the same didn't happen to Arkham Knight, however with all the BS surrounding that game, I can completely understand why they didn't do either of those. Now please, hear me out before you get upset. The PlayStation 4 is basically home to some of Square Enix's best-selling series. I mean, the console has the entirety of the Kingdom Hearts series, 4, now almost 5 Dragon Quest games, 3 Lara Croft games, and 9 Final Fantasy games including the upcoming Dissidia NT. 9! And the console's only been out for about 5 years. What I'm trying to say is that because the PlayStation 4 has so many installments of these franchises, it's easier for people to get into them with this console. And people, whether you want to believe it or not, some people do like the 13 trilogy. Or maybe people are like me and they're just itching to play older installments of the series that they haven't gotten to play yet. And an even bigger reason to remaster this is that this game, or this trilogy, is in the Fabula Nova Crystalla series, which Final Fantasy Type 0 HD and Final Fantasy 15, both games are on next gen, are also in that universe. Now I'm sure since it would be a remaster due to upscaling the graphics for the newer hardware, Square would have to release the game separately. But that's more money for Square. However, a reason I can see why they wouldn't do this is that they're still in that phase where they kind of want to forget about 13 and its subsequent sequels, which is a bit of a shame. Well, fine Square, if you won't give us this and just give us like, I don't know, physical release of The Last Hope on the PS4, or I don't know, like a port of the 3DS remake of Dragon Quest VIII. I don't know, just give me something, man. Now, if I'm going to be honest, this shouldn't take way too much explaining. A lot of people actually have this on their lists because of how popular and how actually good of a game it was. Far Cry 3 was a phenomenal first-person shooter. I didn't get to finish it, but however, the amount of time I did end up putting into it was amazing, to say the least. Now, its sequel, however, well, that's a different story for a different day. But with all of that being said, Far Cry 3 was a phenomenal game on last gen, and I think with a graphical upgrade and with Blood Dragon included, this could be a phenomenal experience for people on next gen who either want to revisit this game or didn't get a chance to play it. Poor suckers. Now, I know what you're going to say. You think this is some crappy, obscure anime game that was released on the PSP so long ago and went completely under the radar, and nobody got to saw its pure genius. Now, don't get me wrong, who doesn't love a little crappy anime game every now and then? But this is no crappy anime game that you'll see every now and then. Like, sure, it has an anime aesthetic, however, it was one of the best-selling PlayStation 2 games. It's praised as one of the best JRPGs of all time, right next to games such as Dragon Quest VIII and Chrono Trigger. And with the game's sequel Persona 5 being hailed as one of the best games of last year, letting people play the game that came before it is kind of a no-brainer to me. Also, the version I'm talking about is Persona 4 Golden, which is basically a remastered version of Persona 4 from the PlayStation 2 that was released on the PlayStation Vita. And if you know anything about the Vita, while it was popular in Japan, it didn't really make an impact over here in the States. So re-releasing the game on a more popular console would make more Persona fans and would give people another chance to appreciate this amazing game. Now, without a doubt, hands down, this is just me being a Metal Gear Solid fan. Because Hideo Kojima is now away from Konami, we will never get another Metal Gear Solid game again. At least not one that matters in any way. But in a way, I'm kind of fine with this. The series ended with 4 and Revengeance, and I'm fine with that. Every character has gotten their ending already, and the series is done. And because of this, remastering all the games for the PlayStation 4 would be nearly perfect. I mean, just imagine it. Metal Gear Solid 1 with models similar to Metal Gear Solid 5. And don't just try to remaster the Twin Snakes. It's fine, but it's not as good as the original. It has Metal Gear Solid 2 gameplay and a Metal Gear Solid 1 map. And because of that, it's kind of broken. But I'm not going to open that can of worms right now, because I got a video to finish. But these remasters would include full 3D remasters of both Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2. Just thinking about all of these games being on one console sends chills down my spine. I hope that Konami would be the company that would be able to do that, but then again, I remember it's Konami, the company that's almost as bad as EA. So I hope they can do better, but it's Konami. So yeah, that ends the first video of 2018. It's not the big epic that I thought it would be, but it's something. It's something that I wrote and I wanted to do because of so many remasters and remakes being announced recently. This is it. Thank you for watching the first video of 2018. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys later. Cue the outro!
Phantom, that's alright. It's alright. Like something you ride a sled. I just want that head. My brilliant, I'm mad. A brilliant, I'm mad. No. Everybody got the same sweat. No. All the way that I check. No. Stacking my bands all the way to the top. All the way to my bands falling. No. Every time that you leave your spot, your girlfriend call me like,